This is the Prestigious Initiative. Welcome. I'm Chris Beane, and here with me is Chris Kent. Hello, Mr. Kent.
Hello, sir.
Today we're going to be diving into a topic that holds immense power for personal transformation. And we've talked about it a couple of times already, and it is journaling. Journaling, it might seem like a simple act, but as we explore today, journaling is a profound tool for self-reflection and personal growth.
Of course, like you said, we've already talked a little bit about this, and I even know that there's different ways to approach this. It's not just about writing, to sit down and write. It's kind of really a journey and an exercise in understanding yourself better, exploring your thoughts and your emotions and setting a stage for positivity, whether that be positive change or positive habits, positive practices. All of that is kind of come under this umbrella of journaling, which can really be beneficial. And like I said, there's many different ways you can go about it, which I think is sometimes a stumbling block or a stopping point for some people, because you think it has to be this way. You sit down, by candlelight with your cup of coffee, and you got the relaxing music in the background, and you write 12 pages of this incredible whatever it is. I mean, sure, that's maybe an ideal of what might happen, but that's not what journaling has to be. There's many ways you can go about it. And so I definitely think that, like we both said, this is a huge jumping point or catalyst for self-reflection, personal growth, positive change, and all sorts of things.
Well, and there's so, like you said, there's so many different areas that umbrella of journaling kind of covers. And I remember talking to somebody not too long ago, and I said, "Oh, journaling, if you tried that, it's so helpful for me." And they kind of rolled their eyes, and I said, "Well, what do you like?" I asked them, "What do you think about when I say journaling?" Oh, and it was like you said, you gotta sit down. So, what people's thoughts are of what journaling is, more often than not, is way off base. Is not what journaling actually is, or at least not how we're going to talk about journaling today, or at least not the way that I do my journaling sessions. And so just, as you are listening today, if I'm sure you're coming into this with some sort of preconceived notion of what journaling is, hopefully you can pause those for the length of this episode. Let us give you some perhaps different takes of what journaling is. And then, you can kind of make your opinion based on what you have previously and that kind of new information that we have. So, like I said, journaling, it covers so many different types. People can keep a gratitude journal, and of course with that, it focuses on the positive things, being thankful for the things that you have in your life. You can do a goal setting journal that is an opportunity for you to track your dreams. And, there's so many different ways to do journaling. And well, I think you have a good one that we're going to talk about here now, right?
Yeah, I had one in mind, but just talking about some of those other things too. I remember at a point in time, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't you also try like what'd you call it? Like a stream of consciousness journaling? You just kind of just wrote whichever you were thinking or whatever came to your mind.
Yeah, I did. And, that was from the Artist Way book.
Oh, by Julia Cameron?
Yes,
Yeah,
that's
okay,
right.
there you go. Yeah, I was going to mention from that what's called morning pages. Thinking about 3 pages of that stream of consciousness and the thoughts you're thinking every morning. I think that could be a fantastic way to clear your mind and kind of start the day with clarity. And whether it happens at morning throughout the day, there's different ways you can go about it. But that's not something I've tried. I've been familiar with it from you and from other places too, but it's a definitely different type of journaling. And again, sometimes you think about journaling, you sit down and you write this thing and
dear diary.
Yeah. Today I felt this, or today John said this to me. Okay, maybe that's stereotyping or kind of going past it, but that's some people's idea of journaling. They say journaling, they think about that, and then of course that turns them away because they don't want to do that. But there's so many different ways you can do it, and so maybe start with the stream of consciousness. Do it in the morning. Do it in the middle of the day. Do it at night. Just sit down and write 3 or less or more pages of exactly what you're thinking, your thoughts, and what's going through your brain. And it doesn't have to necessarily make sense. It doesn't have to get to a point. It doesn't have to become a whole story, but you're just getting that out there, clearing that out of your head. It's the physical act of taking what's in your head and putting it out on paper and physically clearing out what's going on in your mind.
Well, and with the morning pages, the interesting thing with that is it's a stream of consciousness writing. And so you just write. You're not necessarily thinking as you're writing, you're just writing. And the way that it was described to do is it's written in such a way that you wouldn't go back and reread it. In fact, many times as you finish those journals, you take them out and burn them or bury them because they're done. You don't, their purpose was to get the cobwebs in your brain, in your head that you're thinking about, that are rolling around, that have been rolling around, out and on the page, so that you can free up that space to think somewhere else. And the process of writing that down is the process of clearing those cobwebs. And the thought of doing that and allowing your thought to be clear after that is really interesting. But then on top of that, to do it in such a way that, it doesn't have to make coherent sense. In fact, nobody's going to go back to reread it, and you shouldn't go back to reread it. The purpose of it is literally to clear out the garbage that you have rolling around your head from yesterday, the day before, the night, whatever, out and onto the page so it can be free, which is really, really interesting. And then, again, when you're done with it, you burn it or you bury it. And I'm sure maybe you keep them. Okay, fine. But when I was researching this, a lot of people, they do their morning pages and they, okay, I'm done. Throw that book away. I don't need to go back and reread it or anything like that. Now, on your 3-page journey, as what Julia Cameron recommends, you may come up with tasks or things that are actually beneficial. And maybe you write those in a different section or different area or different book in general. But the morning pages, you write 3 pages. Just write. Whatever comes out, comes out. It doesn't have to make sense. You're not going to reread it. Shouldn't go back and reread it. Get it out of your head and be done, which is really a very interesting way to think about that. That was a new concept to me about a year ago or so. And yeah, what a very interesting way to do that. Journaling also plays a significant role in self-awareness. By putting your thoughts down on a paper, you gain insights to your feelings, your behaviors, and your patterns. It's like holding a mirror up to your own mind, which is, again, I think that goes right in line with morning pages, because that's what it's doing. You're taking the things that are in your head, you're putting them down, and there they are. Now they're not in your head anymore. They're on the page. And if you did that in such a way, maybe it's a little bit more structured, a little bit different, a modification on morning pages where you are writing those things down. Maybe it's a little bit more coherent. Maybe it has a little bit more thought process behind it. And then you're using that to set your intentions or parameters through the day, can gain that insight and give you that opportunity to explore your thoughts and emotions about how you're perceiving your day.
And if you still need more motivation or more convincing into trying journaling, there's scientific backing to this. Studies have shown that journaling reduces stress. It enhances your emotional intelligence. It can even boost your immune system. It's just simply, incredibly effective method. It's simple, but incredibly effective method for your overall well-being. It's one of those things that when you're doing it, I think it's easy to not necessarily, it goes one of two ways, I feel like. You either recognize the benefit right away, or you don't quite see it, but you are reaping the benefit, but you don't notice the benefit until you stop doing it. Does that kind of make sense? You go to the gym and either you're like, oh man, I feel great because I went to the gym. Or you go to the gym and say, I don't feel that much different. And then you stop going to the gym and then you go, oh, I feel so much different now because you stop whatever that is. I don't know.
You have that opportunity that you lie to yourself. You're like, it's not really, I'm sure I'm not the only person that plays that game with themselves. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And I think journaling can be similar to that, where, it is beneficial and sometimes you don't notice the benefit until you're not doing it. But, like I said, further proof, there's science behind this. They've done studies that shown the benefits of journaling within those few different areas, but also so much more. We think about, if you are having a stressful time or you're being clouded with thoughts and emotions, and like we talked about, taking those things, putting them on a page, number one, to get them out of your head, but then number two, you can look at that as like a mirror. You can look into your own mind and say, hey, I wrote this. I didn't even realize I was thinking this or feeling this, but here it is. I wrote it. So it must have some effect on how I'm behaving or how I'm feeling right now. And then from there, from once you've journaled that out, you can go in and kind of work on whatever those things may be, or try to seek help with some of the issues that might be kind of troubling at the time. So it definitely is not just something that you can use for one reason, but has multitude of reasons. Sometimes you might not even notice the benefits that journaling can bring to you.
Well, not only that, but journaling is a fantastic way to track your progress. Whether it's, you're working on personal goals or professional goals, you're managing habits, you're striving for self-improvement, journaling can act as a way to kind of record that journey. And I suppose that would be the closest definition to how I journal. I do, this is maybe not the right way to say this, but I don't know any other way. So I would say I do 2 journaling sessions a day. I do a morning journaling session and then an evening journaling session. My morning journaling session is this is it. Literally, it's this. I write down the time I woke up. I have a collection of intentions, and I pick the intention for the day. Confidence. Boom. Okay, great. And then I write down, what am I looking forward to? Pow. That's it. And I write down. I do it all digitally, so I don't write down. I type in, I suppose. But that's it. That's my morning journaling session. It takes all of 3 minutes at most, right? What time did I wake up? And that's just so that I have kind of it's a tracking thing. I'm tracking my time, and I can go back and look at that. I felt off on this day. Well, why? Well, let's see, how's my sleep? So that's why I do that. I set my intention for today. We talked about setting intentions handfuls of times on the podcast before, so there's nothing new there. And then what am I looking forward to? And by setting the thing that I'm looking forward to, that gives me an opportunity for when that thing happens, for then to be looking forward to it. It brings present focus to that. Now, on the second half of the day, I go through a few other ones. I have, in fact, I'm going to pull it up right now, that way I don't miss anything. I enter my energy, right? So I do a rating for my energy between 1 and 10. 10 being I was supercharged, and 1 being, man, I was not charged. I do my mood, and again, I have a pre-selected 15 or 20 different things I can pick: angry, stressed, dazed, okay, happy, content, whatever. Pow, I click that, and then I rate the day from 1 to 10. Although I think starting in January, I'm going to do 1 to 5, only because that shortens that a little bit. But anyways, I rate my day from 1 to 10, and then I go through and I mark down my favorite moment of the day. More often than not, it's a thing that I was looking forward to that I did in the morning. But regardless, I write down my favorite moment for the day. And again, that gives me an opportunity to reflect on my day, to think, man, what did I like today? Oh, it was this. And I write that down. And then I say, what was I thankful for? Well, here's what I was thankful for. Sometimes I do one thing. Sometimes I go above and beyond and do 3 things, but at least one thing goes in there. I put my challenges for today. You can think of challenges like things that didn't go well. What was the heavy thing whatever it was. I put that in there. Then I do takeaways, and those takeaways are specifically from the challenges. So here's my challenge, and then what did I learn from that? What was the takeaway from that challenge? Okay, well, here we go. And then my wins. What went super good for me that day? Write that down. And then the last thing is, what did I learn? Now, that whole evening journaling session, maybe that's 5. I don't think it's 10 minutes. I can't say 5 to 10 minutes. I think 5 to 7 minutes. It really is not that hard. Energy, mood, rating 1 to 10. Favorite moment. What was I thankful for? What were my challenges? What were the takeaway from those challenges? What went well? What were the wins of the day? And what did I learn? Pow, done. Right? And I'm not writing some huge. It takes all morning and evening put together is less than 10 minutes, and I'm done. Right? And I have been doing that for 2 years, 2 years now, just about. And have there been days I missed? Yes. I would say, if I were to miss one, more often than not, it's the morning one. I miss the morning one because I get up, I get the kids going, and well, I missed that one, so I come back later and do it. Or sometimes I get busy in the evening time, or I fall asleep. Sometimes I fall asleep on the couch watching TV or something. Sorry, it happens. I'm human. And I miss the evening one. That's okay. It's not the end of the world. I pick it up the next day. I don't know that I've missed more than one day I haven't missed 2 days in a row. Not that I can recall, although probably I'm human. But if you miss one, you miss one. Fine, just do the next one. No worries. You I suppose could go back and do that one that you missed, Although in the system that I have set up, it doesn't, I would really have to do work in order for that to happen. So if I miss one, I miss one. No big. Move on, get to the next one. And really, I wanted to detail that out because I think it's important to have an understanding of what we mean by this, right? And I said you can use this to track your progress, work on your personal, professional goals, managing habits, and striving for self-improvement. That is the type of journaling that I do. It's just I'm noting kind of the facts of the day, giving myself an opportunity to reflect on those things, and then how did I feel about them? What did I learn for the day? Pow, and I move on. That's it. And then of course I think we've talked about this before, but I have a weekly reflection I do. I have a monthly reflection I do. I have a quarterly reflection I do, and I have a yearly reflection I do. All those are based on the input that I give my system on the daily, which makes it. I really like systems and those kind of things. So that really works for me. But by all means, just write down, what went well today, what didn't go so well, and what did you learn from that? Right? I think if you're going to start a journaling habit and you wanted to start with the bare minimum, what went well, what didn't go so well, and what did you learn from that thing that didn't go so well? I think that would be enough to start to see some value from that time put in.
Yes, sir. Yeah. So whether you're just starting your journey in journaling or you're a seasoned writer and maybe you wanted some more tips, hopefully this episode was for you. We had a couple different techniques, some personal stories, and hopefully those things can serve to inspire you and guide you to start or to make a change in your journaling adventure.
Absolutely. If you wanted to do this on a pen and paper or a digital device, doesn't matter. But I do think that journaling is a key way to discover how you can transform your life. And journaling really, I think, is so helpful. So helpful. As always, thank you for tuning into this episode of the Prestigious Initiative. Remember, journaling isn't about writing. It's about understanding yourself better and paving the way for a more meaningful life. If you enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, share it with your friends, and stay tuned for more inspiring conversations on self-improvement, leadership, and personal growth. Stay prestigious.